What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Loida with TBC, and in this video I want to talk all about expireds. I have made thousands of phone calls to expireds, and this is a lead source that I personally enjoy going after because I have gotten very good at having conversations, figuring out their motivation, figuring out if there's someone that I can actually help or not. So I want to give you an insight as to how to approach them, where to find phone numbers, what to say, what you can expect, and a whole bunch of other things. First, let's begin with where do you find these phone numbers. So there are so many different lead sources out there that provide you this information. Just as an example, there is Vulcan 7, Espresso Agent, Land Voice, RedX, Arch Agent, and so many others. I have tried a few of them, and the one that I'm using right now that I have been using for the past few years, which I really like because the data is very accurate, is Vulcan 7. Now, Vulcan 7 is pricier than some other services, so if you're right now shopping around, definitely take a look to see what is within your budget and try them out. I have partnered up with some of these companies to provide you guys with discounts and trials, so just go on the link in the description box below if you want to access that. Once you have figured out where you want to get your expired data, the next thing that you're going to want to do is obviously start calling them. Now, the hesitation that a lot of you have is that you think that you have to know your script inside and out and every single question and know every single objection handler before you start making these calls, and that is not true. I will tell you, you just have to get out there, start making the calls. Obviously, you do want to have some script in front of you because you do want to be familiar with what kind of questions to ask so that you can be in charge of the conversation and figure out if whoever it is that you're talking to is an actual serious, motivated seller. Now, a lot of expired, depending on the time that you call them, they're going to be really pissed off. They're going to be aggravated. They're going to be mad. They might yell at you. They might cuss you out. So here's the thing, if you're gonna call fresh expireds, I would recommend for you to start first thing in the morning. So I like to start at 8 o'clock in the morning. I hit those new expireds first thing because there's gonna be less agents giving them a call. If you're calling expireds around 9, 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, obviously they have already gotten so many calls from agents that started early, so by the time that you get to them later in the day, of course they are going to be mad, and you're gonna have a much bigger wall to have to break through just because of their attitude. Not just that, but they're probably not even going to answer the phone. So keep that in mind. Call newer expireds first thing in the morning. Next, once you finally are able to get a hold of someone over the phone, these expireds are going to do so many different things to try to get you off the phone, so you need to be very quick with your responses and guiding the conversation. Some of the things that you're going to hear are, we're not interested, we are taking it off the market, we're not going to sell anymore, we're waiting for interest rates to go down because we're going to be purchasing. So whatever the situation is, just keep this in mind. Obviously, these people had some type of need or interest in selling. Otherwise, they wouldn't have put their home on the market. Now, here and there, you will come across some individuals, some home sellers that are absolutely delusional and unrealistic when it comes to the price, and they were pretty much just testing the market. And unfortunately, they probably worked with some agent that kind of did whatever their seller said. So in points like this, it's when it's really important for you to have a script or at least know what questions to ask, because you need to find out whether they're serious or not. There's going to be some homeowners that think that their house is worth what it was worth, back in 2021 when the market was crazy, but obviously things have changed. So be very good when it comes to pre-qualifying. The longer that you are able to have someone on the phone, you just need to continue asking questions. Something that a lot of agents do is that once they feel that they have someone solid that they're talking to, it's almost like you want to rush off of the phone and then you forget to ask so many questions. So then when you try to call back, they just don't answer. So the goal of you calling expireds is to find out which ones out there still have some type of need to sell, because maybe they need to relocate, maybe they want to upsize, downsize, maybe they had a time frame that they had to meet because of a job. Whatever that is, you need to get as much information in that first conversation, and the goal is always to try and set an appointment. Now, over time, as you're making these phone calls, you're going to get better at asking these questions and gathering information for you to decide whether or not that lead is worth pursuing, and obviously try to set an appointment with them. Now, if you want tips on how to prepare for a listing appointment, I have a few videos and a playlist that you guys can watch, so make sure that you take a look at that. That way, once you set an appointment with an expired, you go there, you are sharp, and your chances of getting that listing are going to be so much higher. Hopefully this video has given you a little bit more when it comes to calling expired listings. At the end of the day, you just have to get out there and do it. Right now, because we are in the new year, there are so many properties that came off the market on December 31st. So there are probably hundreds or maybe even thousands, depending where you're at, of expires that you can just go and start calling already. Now, if you're wondering about dialers, I specifically like to use Mojo's 3-line dialer to make all of my phone calls. I have found more success dialing 3 numbers at a time versus 1 number, just because there will always be people that just don't answer. So I'm more efficient having a 3-line dialer versus single-line dialing, or me kind of using my finger to dial out. So that is something to keep in mind. When it comes to Mojo, I have never used the data that Mojo provides, so I can't speak on that, but I do really like the dialer because I can also integrate it onto whatever CRM that I'm working with. To watch me in action calling expireds and for sale by owners, make sure to watch these 2 videos right here. Take a lot of notes and start implementing some of these objection handlers.